Okay, friends, as you know, we are opening the shul for the first time in 2.5 months. We are so excited. So first of all, I wanted to show you what we prepared for this first Shabbat during COVID-19. And I also want to share with you a thought on Shabbat. I know a sermon will be given in shul. We are back to schedule. So Shabbat sermon is in shul. However, I still have a message I would like to share with you on this Erev Shabbat. So please join me here to the shul so you can see that we set up the shul very different than what we are used to. We have at least 6 feet distance between every person. You see these 2 chairs, that's just to be convenient. So people have the Chumash and Siddur and the famous Scroll magazine right next to them. And you don't have to hold it, but this is going to be their Chumash and Siddur for the entire service. So that's why we have a second chair. As you can see, the windows are open. We want to make sure that there's cross ventilation, there's as much fresh air as possible. We also changed the air conditioning system. Now it takes in fresh air all the time, so there's less recycling of the same air inside the shul. So we will keep the distances together with high hygiene. You can see we have sanitizers by the table spread around the shul so people can use them as well. Everyone will be wearing a mask as an extra measure to make sure that we share with each other only good and happy things. So as I said, the sermon will be given on Shabbat tomorrow morning, as usual, after Torah reading. But I want to share with you some thought on the Parsha. After doing so many live sermons on Friday, I thought I should still share a Torah thought that is appropriate for this Shabbat. So I was thinking about the fact that we are sitting in the shul. We are sitting all together as a community, but at the same time, we are sitting with a distance, and each one have their own quarter, their own space where they are praying. And I think there's a great lesson there that we can take from this time where we still have to daven in this fashion. Tomorrow we are going to read the longest parsha in the Torah. You know, my brother told me that in Michigan, after they did not read the Torah for over 2 months, so the first time they had a minyan, they read all the parshas that they missed. So people were there for a 2.5-hour Torah reading to make up from the last parsha they read in the Torah until the current parsha. We are not going to do that. We're going to read only this week's parsha, but it is still the longest parsha in the Torah. And the reason is not because necessarily this parsha on the surface gives us more commandments or more mitzvot than other parashot, but the main reason is because the parsha repeats 12 times the contribution that each one of the prince, of the leaders of each tribe of Israel brought at the dedication of the altar in the tabernacle. So each one gave a contribution. So the Torah lists 12 leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel, and each one with a contribution they gave. Now the interesting thing is that they actually gave all the same identical contribution. So the Torah really repeats the same contribution 12 times, just changes who is the donor, from which tribe, but really the same contribution again and again 12 times. And the question is obvious, couldn't the Torah just write it once and then write? And the same contribution was given by the rest of the 11 tribes of Israel, even with listing the names of the leaders. But the Torah is teaching us a tremendous lesson, it's such an important one, that even on the surface, each one of the tribes gave identical contributions. This is only what it appears to be. But in truth, what is really important, the intention of the person, the kavanah, the thought that they put in it, the emotion they put in it. And in this we know that from one tribe to another, it's different. It's not the same contribution. So even if on the surface, physically, it looks like the same, it isn't the same. Those are different contributions. The Torah is telling us we can't just say, and the same brought the rest of the tribes, because each one gave a different contribution. Each one had something else in mind. Each one gave their feelings, their thoughts into what they gave to the Mishkan. And therefore, this is not 12 identical contributions. These are 12 unique contributions of each person. So when we sit in the shul and we read from the prayer book, sometimes, yes, we feel there's a communal prayer. We're all coming together to daven. There's no question there's that unity. We all pray from the same siddur. We all pray in the same language. We all have the same structure. We all do it the way the Jews all over the world are doing it, and the way our ancestors did it for millennia. But at the same time, we need to remember that tefillah is a personal relationship with our Creator. And therefore, this is while the body of it looks the same, the soul is so different from one person to another. And this is maybe what this kind of a setting of a shul is teaching us too. That from one end, we are all sitting in the same shul. We are all praying together. We are all one community. We are coming together because we want to have the power of davening together. But at the same time, we remember that each one of us is unique. Each one of us is individual. Each one of us have our own unique relationship with our Creator. And we sit by ourselves with this social distancing. It allows us to remember of our personal relationship with Hashem. What the prayer is really all about is to open up our soul to our Creator. So, friends, if you will be joining us tomorrow, we will be very happy to see you. We took extreme measures to make sure that you will be safe. But if you'll be celebrating Shabbat at home, I just want to wish you Shabbat Shalom. And I definitely look forward to the days that we will be able to daven in the same shul, but also feel the warmth of each other in a physical sense as well, and be able to hold each other's hands and express what I know that we all feel for each other. Shabbat Shalom.